Namaskar. Standard costing. One of the fundamental functions of management is to control our cost. Hence, it is very important to plan and control the cost. Historical costing is not an effective mode of exercising cost control because it does not provide yardstick which actual performance may be compared. The limitations and disadvantages of historical or actual costing system have led to the development of standard costing system. It is a technique of cost accounting to control the cost. Before discussing about standard costing, we should know what is standard and what is standard cost. The word standard means a benchmark or yardstick. It means any predetermined rate or any predetermined amount on which performance can be measured. The standard cost is a predetermined cost technically calculated well in advance that what should be the cost of a product or service under a given circumstances. Definition of standard cost given by various institutions. According to Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA London, standard cost is the predetermined cost based on technical estimates for materials, labor and overhead for a selected period of time for a prescribed set of working conditions. According to Institute of Cost and Work Accountant ICWA London, standard costs are prepared and used to clarify the final result of a business, particularly by measurement of variations of actual cost from standard cost and the analysis of the causes of variances for the purpose of maintaining efficiency of executive action. From these definitions and meaning, we come to know that standard cost is a predetermined cost. It is based on technical estimations. It is established for the purpose of comparison. It is based for pricing policy or price fixing. So these are the features of, you can see these are the features of standard cost. Now there are some distinction between standard cost and estimated costs. So estimated costs are predetermined costs which are based on historical data and is often not very significantly determined. They are usually compiled from loosely gathered informations and therefore they are unsafe to use them as a tool for measuring performance. Where standard cost are predetermined costs which aim at what the cost should be rather than what it will be. Both the standard cost and estimated cost are used to determine price in advance, and their purpose is to cost control, but management can rely on standard cost and not on estimated cost for planning and control. Now, what is standard costing? When standard costs are used for the purpose of cost control, the technique is known as standard costing. It aims at eliminating wastage and increasing efficiency in performance through setting up standard for formulating cost plan. In other words, it discovers inefficiency and the same is sent to the appropriate authority for remedial measures. It also suggests the way by which the same can be eliminated. The definition of standard costing given by Chartered Institute of Management Accountant CIMA London as the standard cost and applying them to measure the variations from actual cost and analyzing the causes of variances with a view to maintain maximum efficiency in production. Thus, standard costing is a technique to compare the standard cost of each product or service with the actual cost to determine the efficiency of the operation. When the actual cost differ from standard cost, the difference is called variance, and the corrective action will be taken immediately by the management for any adverse variances. There are various steps relating to standard costing. First, setting standard cost for different element of cost, recording of actual cost, comparing between standard cost and actual cost to determine the variances, then analyzing the variances to know the causes thereof, and finally reporting the analyzing of variances to the management for taking appropriate action whenever necessary. The various objectives of standard costings are as follows. The main objective of the cost accounting to control the cost. Standard cost is to help management in cost control. It can be used as a yardstick against which actual cost can be compared to measure efficiency. The another objectives of standard cost is to help the management in exercising control over the cost through the principle of exception. It helps to draw the attention of management only when the actual performance is derived from the prescribed standards. Another objective is to develop cost consciousness attitude. It makes the entire organization for cost consciousness. It makes the employees to recognize the importance of efficient operation so that costs can be reduced by joint effort. Another objective of the cost accounting to fix the price. Standard costing is to determine price and fix the price quotation as well as submit tenders of various products. This can be done with the accuracy of standard cost rather than the actual cost. Next, to formulate policies. The standard costing helps the management in formulating production policies. It also helps the management in the area of profit planning, product pricing, and inventory pricing, etc. There are various advantages of standard costing. We will discuss some of the important advantages of standard costing. Say number one, it guides the management to evaluate production performance. It helps the management in fixing standards. Standard costing is useful for formulating production planning and price policies. It guides as a measuring mode for determination of variances. It facilitates eliminating inefficiency by taking corrective measures. It acts as an effective tool of cost control. It helps the management in taking important decisions. It facilitates the principle of management by exception. Effective cost reporting system is possible under standard costing. Beside all the benefits derived from this system, it has a number of limitations. Standard costing is expensive and a small concern may not meet that expenses, that cost. Due to the lack of technical aspects, it is difficult to establish the standard. Standard costing cannot be applied in the case of a concern where non-standardized products are produced. Fixing of responsibility is difficult in standard costing. Responsibility cannot be fixed in the case of uncontrollable variances. Frequent revision is required while inefficient staff is incapable of operating this system. Adverse psychological effects and frequent technical changes will not be suitable for standard costing system. So these are the disadvantages of standard costing. So the first part of the standard costing we have discussed today. In the next session, we'll discuss about various techniques of standard costing and analyzing of variances. Thank you. Namaskar.